All right. This is going to be interesting. Chandler Crouch here. This week, I have done a live broadcast every day at 2 o'clock, and it's been live streamed on my personal page, on my company page, and on YouTube. And the reason why is just because I feel like in these times, I just want to reach out and do what I can to help. And there's so much going on that I feel like there are opportunities to help every day. They're new, and everybody's got a different situation, and everybody's at a different place of this whole crisis. You know, some people have been laid off, some people can't go to work, some people have essential jobs, and some people don't have essential jobs. And the ones that are essential, the demand is off the charts for your services, and there are all sorts of stressors and issues going on with that. There's a lot of uncertainty. Everybody wants to know what's going on, what's going to happen with their job, what's the world going to look like when this thing ends, and we come out on the other side of this. What's the economy going to look like? And I just feel like with that amount of uncertainty, with all of the issues going on, that I just felt like being in touch with people and communicating and helping how I could. So this week started off Monday by just basically announcing what was going to happen, and gave a couple little inspirational tidbits. But then I planned out these 5 days and tried to hit a few different angles of this situation. So Tuesday, I talked about, let's see, what was it? My gosh, I should have more notes in front of me. I know I talked about tips on homeschooling, because I know a lot of parents are at home homeschooling, and that's one of the new challenges that people are having. There are a lot of new issues with that, and trying to figure out how to do it. And the interesting thing is that the homeschooling it's a totally different subject than public school at home or doing public school online, when the curriculum isn't set up for that. The behaviors aren't set up for that. Nobody's had any real training in it. And so everybody's just trying to figure it out. The teachers are trying to figure it out. The parents are trying to figure it out. The kids are trying to figure it out. And on top of that, the kids are all freaked out. They don't know how to express it. And so we have some behavior issues, kids acting out and feeling like they're on vacation, not getting to see their friends, and worried, not knowing how to deal with that. There were all sorts of issues with that. And so I just thought, you know what, let's do a live stream on that. So that's what we did on Wednesday. On Tuesday, what we did is I just thought, well, with everybody at home, my original plan was just to kind of give some tips on how to work virtually. And I've still got a list of those tips, but then I changed it and thought, you know what, the biggest issue is going to be, Jeff White. Jeff, why don't you join me? Click the link, buddy. I talked to Jeff just moments before this and invited him to come on and talk. And he said that he's at home, and he's out of work right now because his job isn't deemed essential. And so he said the quarantine has been really hard on him. He's started to develop some really poor habits. He's he's begun wearing pink and like doing things like I was gonna dog him, but I'm not. Anyway, whatever. I'm just going to continue on the path. Here's the point. Today, I'm going to tell you what I've done all week. I'm going to sit here and talk to myself as long as I can. But the cool thing about today is, I think if this technology works the way it looks like it works, and the way it's worked for me in the past, is all you have to do is click the link in the post, and then you can join right here on live. So I started out with some kind of serious topics. How can you make money at home? What kind of homeschool stuff do you need help with? How can we give some tips for that? And then yesterday it was about emergency food preparedness. Kind of took a lighthearted approach to it. And I got my kids on here, and we talked about what kind of, or we did a taste test thing. Oh, it's Gina, Jeff's wife, making comments here. Gina, you should join me. Just click the link. Come on. She works at a mall, so I'm sure that you're at home shut down too with Jeff. I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with Jeff in this time of loneliness with that man. That is a tragic situation. That's you're going to have to do something to go to counseling just to recuperate from the time you've been at home with him. So Jeff and Gene are, Jeff is my first roommate. We hunted Easter eggs together, and he was actually the last person I talked to before I entered quarantine. Went and hung out at their house the day before. Went and picked my wife up from the airport the day after that, and she had just gotten home from Seattle, and it felt like it was a good time to quarantine after I got home from Seattle. So haven't seen anybody since. I've been cooped up in this garage. They won't let me out of this darn garage. Hey, by the way, made this garage famous yesterday. If anybody saw it, I was on CBS News. Jason Allen did an interview, and I did it right here from this computer. I honestly haven't been on Facebook much to see if anybody watched that or not. And so anyway, that was cool. It was on yesterday. It was just a little bit more information about the property tax, how the property tax system has been affected by the coronavirus. The value noticers going out late, that sort of thing. I did a live stream. Let's see, I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but I did a live stream about that. And then Jason Allen picked it up and did an interview with him while I was sitting in the garage. And the audio was so bad on that interview. I thought, man, I can't, like, there's enough stuff that's really, really bad about everything I'm doing right now. This is horrible. This is what it's like to be me, where you get a zany idea, and for some reason in my head, if I have an idea that seems halfway decent and I'm kind of uncertain whether it's going to be a good idea or not, my default answer is, well, let's just go for it, see how it goes. And if it's really bad, I won't do it again. So that might be the case here, seeing as nobody has been brave enough to click on the link to join me. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Let's see. I could shame everybody that's watching here. It looks like everybody from okay, I see. I can't see individual names. I can see your name once you like it. So Kevin Richardson, I'm waiting for you, buddy. Join me here. Your wife was talking about, your wife wanted to know, Kevin Richardson's wife wanted to know how babies are made. That was their topic that she submitted for me to discuss today. So Kevin, you need to talk to your wife. I don't know what's going on at your house, something crazy, but you don't even know what link to click on. Is there not a link in the post? I'm gonna venture to access Facebook. Is Gina gonna do it? I'm here. You're here to hear my response on that, Kevin. I can't help you with that, Kevin. But anyway, so yesterday I tried to give you an idea of what potted meat products kids would actually eat. So my kids were brave enough to jump on. We tried Spam. We tried pickled pig's feet. Yeah, there's a link right there in the post. You just have to click the link if you're brave enough. So, but we did that. Homeschooling tips, and I'll give you a couple tips on working at home because I didn't really give those. There's some great technology that's helped me work from home, and one of them is this technology that you're seeing right now. This is StreamYard. This is not going to be ideal for most people, but if you are, say, a pastor or somebody that's wanting to broadcast and live stream, this allows you to live stream in multiple places at once, be able to read all the comments all together in one spot, and it's a pretty handy tool. So there's that. RingCentral is a terrific tool. It's a voice over IP phone system. That's what I use for my company. Allows us to pick up the phone anywhere. So it doesn't matter if our office is shut down, I can pick up the phone no matter where I'm at. If we have a real estate agent go out of town, then we can forward their calls to the office, and that's been tremendous. And then along with that, everybody has discovered Zoom this week for the first time. Zoom is a terrific tool for online meetings. RingCentral actually uses Zoom technology to piggyback on, and they provide a online meeting software for that. And so that's been terrific. And Google Voice is another one that's just like RingCentral. And so there's something else that a lot of people probably don't know about. If you use Google Chrome, you can use the add-on that is, it's called Loom, Loom. It's a really easy, convenient way to be able to do short videos, and there's no processing time afterwards. You just copy the link, and then you can email that to people. And so instead of having to coordinate time for a phone call or try to, describe something in a very elaborate email, you can speak a lot quicker than you can type for most people. And so you can just quickly do a video and email the link to somebody, and it gives them instructions or your feedback on something. So that's Loom, is an extension for Google. That's been very helpful. I've got tons more tips like that, but I just feel like in a situation like this, we can, the goal for this today is to allow you to talk about your experiences in this whole quarantine thing, the whole coronavirus, how it's affected you, anything crazy that you've seen, any kind of interesting questions you have that aren't being addressed. I've got a few myself that I'll raise, some topics. And I read headlines. I'll look at the news in the morning for the most part. I just look at the headlines, and then in the afternoon, I kind of there's some commentary and some analysis, and I'll watch one download in the afternoon to kind of get an overall idea of what's going on. But one question I've had is, with everybody's at home, nobody's on the road anymore. Only very, very few people are on the road. So I would imagine the amount of traffic fatalities are decreasing. And I don't have a handle. I could have done an easy Google search to find this out, but I don't have a handle what the number of traffic fatalities are in a given year. But I was just wondering how much of a reduction in traffic fatalities we'll see because of this virus. And I just wonder how much that might offset some of the deaths that we'll see because of the virus itself. So that's one thought I have. If you have any insight on that, or you want to help me out by Googling and doing some math, I think that's an interesting topic. Another one was, I was just wondering, like there's basically two crises going on. One is with the health and virus part of this, and the other is the economic crisis. And with an economic crisis, I just wonder what kind of effect that's going to have on people's health and on life in general. And so I know in 2008 there was something like, it was more than 10,000 deaths were attributed to the 2008 crisis in the way of suicide. And so I don't know if that was I don't know if that was just in the United States or what, but I just wonder what kind of effect the economic side will have on life versus the virus, and just wondering, what would happen if the economic side gets so much worse, how much worse would that be? Hey, the way you get to me to be quiet is you just click the link and you can join me here, and I'll put you right on, and we'll sit here and talk together, have a conversation, if you're bold enough, if you're brave. The other thing I was thinking about is thieves. We're all at home. Like, this has got to change the way of life for thieves. People that are used to home invasion when nobody's home. Well, they're kind of out of work now. What do? I suppose they're going to have to turn to looting or something like that. Thank God I haven't seen anything like that. It's just an interesting thing that I haven't heard anybody talk about. Who knows? I went to Kroger this morning, got plenty of toilet paper, so we're good in that department here at home. I shouldn't have said that. So I'm in quarantine, but I didn't see anybody or talk to anybody. It was super early. Changing the subject very fast. That's the danger of live. I don't got a disease. I'm good. I'm totally healthy. I'm going to catch something if I keep hanging out in this garage, though. Let's do it, David. Hey, I'll tell you what, on Monday or Tuesday, when things really started hitting the fan, I remember I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It kind of, oh, what's up, dude? Oh my gosh. David, what's up? You're doing it. We're doing it together. You're essential.
I'm not dressed up like you.
You're in your essential office. That's all right. You just had a baby, man. Can I talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, I was just about to tell the story. How on Monday, when did they really start shutting down? When did Trump come out and say no more than 10 people? You remember?
Oh, I wasn't really paying attention since Sunday, but we turned it on. Last thing I heard was yesterday, but the mayor came out, I think Tuesday night.
Okay.
And I think they were going to kick me out of the hospital.
Wow.
Where they're going to change. I was wondering. I asked the nurse, "Are you going to kick the moms out too after having a baby?"
Wow, that's crazy, man.
It's serious.
Okay, so here's really what happened. So all this is going down, and I almost feel like it's kind of this 9/11 type environment where I see something big happening. It's huge. I've seen it happen. I've seen it kind of unfolding in Japan and kind of working its way this way, China, and then it's kind of working its way this way, and then all of a sudden it's hitting and it's home. We're here, and then I'm thinking. I just trying to process what it means, And so I wake up Monday morning and I scroll through Facebook just to try and get some reactions. And I see some community activists that are concerned that our civil liberties are being taken away. I see some politicians posting stuff. They're concerned. They're talking about this and that. and I see people freaking out because they're getting laid off. And then I see your beautiful wife, your beautiful baby, and your post. And I'm like, dude, this is such an amazing thing to see all those posts in succession like that. And your post with your beautiful newborn was just, it brightened my day. And I have to think that it probably helped brighten a lot of people's day. So that's pretty cool. What's it been like being a new father, man? And what day did you have the baby? And tell me what's it been like for you?
So, they see in the movies, you think, oh, this water's going to break. It's going to be some massive event. I'm going to be driving down the highway. She's been riding with me for a month on showing appointments or listing appointments or, our investment deals. And I'm just thinking she's having all this pain. I'm running over speed bumps on purpose, trying to get this thing to break. And Saturday night at 10:30 at night, she's like, "Oh, I think I just peed myself."
Huh.
I hate. Probably don't want this on there, but
that doesn't matter.
It was very light.
Not me.
Yeah, it was very light. So she didn't. She's like, "Oh, okay, we'll wait." So in the morning, she's like, "We better go to the hospital." So 9:30, I'm like, "Nah, don't worry about it. It's supposed to be like the movies. It's gonna gush. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be a volcano atmosphere here." And it wasn't. Yeah, man. We got there and said, "You're having a baby today."
Woo!
And 6 hours later, the little man is entered into the world.
Wow.
Best thing ever.
So water broke at night. Y'all got a full night's sleep, and then you woke up in the morning and went to the hospital. Yeah, man, that's a blessing right there. That's crazy. She's able to get a full night's sleep. I mean,
that's the last full night's sleep in the last 6 days. Well, whatever days it is, 5 days.
Wow. Hey, man, go ahead. I can introduce you, but go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell me what's your name and what company you're with and what you do for a living.
Yeah, Dave Pennell. I compete against Chandler in real estate here, and we've been buddies, and we rule the world in real estate here. So every day's a grind. So yeah, I'm a realtor, and
Cities Real Estate. What office building are you in? What location?
We just moved over to this Hearst location.
All right.
You can see behind me a little bit. It's really nice to have a view now.
That's cool, man.
For the last 3 years, I've been in like a little cubby hole.
So it's interesting, David. What I read this somewhere, and what most people don't realize is, and I'd kind of seen this anecdotally, but then I saw a story one time that said that real estate agents were among the most philanthropic professionals of any industry. And I thought, that's kind of crazy. And then you hold that in contrast with the studies I've seen about whatever you call it, job prestige or whatever, and how real estate agents are ranking below car salesmen and below accident attorneys or whatever. It's like it's a really interesting thing. But I can say firsthand that the relationship David and I have, where David's a real estate broker, I'm a real estate broker, we're in competition with each other, but it's amazing to see how giving David is. And really there are kind of a small circle of people that I talk with that we're all in competition with each other, but we just have just a free flow sharing of ideas and just trying to help each other because, I don't know, I just have a respect for you and I see what you're doing, man. You run an incredible business and I know that it's not the easiest thing in the world, and to see what you've done with it is pretty amazing. So,
yeah, every day's a grind, but it's nice to have somebody like even just today. John Zimmerman, right?
Yeah, I do. Remind me, who is he? I know him. It's just not coming.
Well, I mean, he's the top luxury broker in our area, Fort Worth, and
yes, okay.
And since I've been calling expireds the last 6 years, 7 years, I always call on his. And I always call and say, "Hey, your seller's just going to relist with you. You should call him." Over that time, we built a little friendship, and I mean, he'll take my call. I imagine he'll avoid every other realtor in town, but some reason he'll talk to Dave Pennell. I think that's neat. It goes back to he knows that we respect the business. He knows that we really try to serve our clients at a really deep level. But then he also respects another person that's in this field doing the same thing. Yeah. And it's just nice to have people like you to call on. Or, I mean,
or Zimmerman.
I'm kind of, I've always ran by the seat of my pants, I guess, on real estate and just did what I had to get by and build a business. And it's nice to have your brain, the way you think and these guys think, and everybody's willing to talk and chat a little bit. So you're right. You're spot
Yeah,
on.
man. You know, one of the common things that I see among the real estate agents and really any professional that I'm in association with that I've really gotten to know, that I guess that I respect, because there are probably some that are very successful that I just don't respect and I just don't hang out with or don't talk to. But it seems like among the folks that are successful that I respect, they all have this quality of being giving. And it's like, you know, there's not one reason in the world why I should expect to call David Pinnell and ask a question about video or whatever it is and expect you to give me an answer that's actually going to help me be successful. And it could be a detriment to you if you were just focused on it. But it's like all these successful people, they have that common trait of just having that giving mentality. And then the funny thing is a lot of the new agents that really don't know yet, and they're just focused on their own survival. They're concerned with competition. If somebody else gets another lead that they're not getting, it's like they're looking at the fellow realtor and they're thinking, man, you know, they're thinking about the competitive side of it, and kind of like, you know, if somebody else is getting one up, then they feel like they might be losing one, and that's something that the successful people seem like they don't have. Have you noticed the same thing?
Absolutely, but you know, it goes back to lifting somebody else up. If it's not our client, it's another realtor. And you know, I do these massive open house events, and when the realtors come and they have their client with them, or they don't have their client with them, and let's say they don't have their client with them, or the client shows up without them, and they're just looking at the property. Hey, I'm working with such. I mean, I'm like, dang, man, you got one of the best agents in the market. I don't even know that person, but just to give them that confidence in their agent, and have some other agent say that, it always gives me.
Uh-oh, it's frozen. David just froze.
I may not even know the person, but just gives.
Hold on, we're having a little connection issue. You just froze up, and I think Billy's trying to join. And if this is Billy, who owns the automotive shop, then I will be really interested. Anyway, man. So if Billy comes on, I'll add him. But just keep. We just skipped out on you. Can you rewind and say what you were going to say, or say what you said in the license? Go ahead.
No, it's just, it goes back to building somebody up. If it's you or some other new agent, or at my open houses that we do, if the home buyer shows up without their agent, they're always nervous to talk to you because they think you're going to sell them on something. But I always make it the point, be like, who are you working with? Hey, they're a terrific agent. I've done several deals with them, and it may be a little bit lying a little bit, but it builds that confidence up that I'm not trying to steal their client. I'm not. And it adds that confidence level too.
But you're just communicating that you're not gonna try to steal them from their realtor, and you're communicating that you have respect for their realtor, and just that's cool, man. That's really awesome, Billy. If that's the Billy I'm thinking, man, I would love for you to join. He runs a terrific business. It's somebody that I would love to mastermind with. Man, you've talked about masterminding before. And just getting together. This is actually a pretty good way to do it. It's just that right now the people that are watching are mainly just not self-employed.
You know, it's usually in private groups where people don't see what we talk about in real estate. So I think it's critical to maybe have something out there in the public like this where we just chat about our daily lives and what we're actually going through. Because we are the bottom totem pole of professionalism, but when you go through it,
Not in my
may have information online of your houses or what you want to buy, but man, it's critical. I know I could save my clients money on every house that they want to make a purchase on, or if they want to sell something. We've proved it time and time again.
Mr. Chandler says, or Chandler Herman says, what can you tell me about, hold on, what's it say? What can you tell me about becoming a real, and I'm assuming he's saying real estate agent. So real estate, part-time while working full-time day job. Okay. So that's his goal. He wants to work part-time in real estate and work full-time in his regular job. But I'll say this here, we mentioned a couple times that there's this study. I want to say it's a Harris poll that came out that said that, real estate agents are among the least prestigious, I guess. But here's the odd thing, David. It's like almost everybody I talk to has either been a real estate agent or they want to be a real estate agent at some point in their life. And so you have this weird, blending it. And then I think one of the reasons why Let me ask you this, David, why do you think so many people?
No, I have the perfect thought of that. So
give me the perfect thought.
no, I've actually, over the time of talking to the new recruits at Champions or these schools, and you know, it's if you're not going to be full time in the job, it's not that you're probably going to get a few deals your first year until you figure it out, but it's knowing your role, right? And the team environment that I'm trying to build is that if someone wants to work part time, I'm actually more flexible to that nowadays if they want to work in their role. And what I mean by that, if they want to learn communication skills, if they want to learn the admin side of the business, if they want to learn the marketing side, there's from my coach, there's 3 C's in the business. You're either creating the business, and that takes money. You're either converting the business, that takes phone calls and communication skills, or you're closing deals. And if
That's
you don't have a lot of money, if you don't have, honestly, if you don't have $100,000 to throw at marketing a year to get that return, you don't need to be trying to create business. You don't need to learn how to make a Facebook post that's going to bring in business or send postcards out every 6 months thinking you're going to get a call back. If you're going to be part-time in this business, you got to work on converting and learning how to talk to people in a way that you could persuade them to use you, because we have to answer to our clients. So if we're not in that role in the beginning, you're never going to get to the other. You're never going to close deals. You're never going to have money to create deals.
Yeah, I think that's one of the easiest things to overlook is that in real estate, you can get your real estate license relatively quick, and you don't have to spend a ton of money up front just to have an active license. But to get to the starting point is a way different equation than what it takes to actually get to be very successful. And most people are shocked about how much time and activity and money it takes to actually become really successful. So what you're saying, David, is if you are going to work in real estate part-time, that to try and start from scratch and be that solo agent that's going to do everything and go from zero to very successful and earning an income, doing it all on your own, it's going to take way too many resources to do it. So what you're saying now, what you're saying is find somebody that's already spending the money, already built an infrastructure, and has carved out a role for you so that you can spend your time just learning that value piece of converting leads and filling deals in your pipeline that way. Is that a fair summary for what you said?
Especially in today's world. I mean, what corporate business or what employer is going to hire you to be the CEO without having any experience?
Sure. Yeah.
Who's going to bring you on? You got these guys that want to come on and, granted, you got brokerages that pay 100% commission, but that's not. If you want to be a real estate agent 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, spend that, like Gary Vaynerchuk says, spend the first 3 years learning your skills. Piggyback with somebody and just follow them, shadow them, and learn how to. It took me 5 years to learn really how to communicate with people and to persuade people to use me. You could get the phone call in, but they're calling 5, 6 other, 7 other, 10 other agents. How are you going to convince them to work with you as a part-time agent?
You know what I'm shocked at, David, is how many people come straight out of real estate school with no experience whatsoever and try to charge the same exact thing as a guy like you that's been in the business for, many, many years, and or especially somebody coming straight out of real estate school and they're not plugged into a team where they can at least leverage the value of all the marketing and all the understanding of the sales process and all the pitfalls and ways to save people money. So it's shocking to me. I know, like, anybody can charge anything they want, but that's an interesting thing to me.
It breaks down to how much is that person worth an hour. And if they're coming from a role like a corporate business, like this guy, maybe an employee of somebody, they're probably making $25 an hour. Maybe a little more. That's about average in our market, our area. So you're asking yourself, without even thinking about it, you're saying, hey, I'm going to be a real estate agent. Now I'm worth $250 or $400 an hour. I want to be paid like a doctor, but I just got my license and I have no reputation. It blows my mind when I sit down with agents and they think they're going to do that in 6 weeks or they're going to do that in 6 months.
Well, you just go out. You just have to turn doorknobs, and you're just turning on light switches, right? It's not that big a deal.
Oh yeah.
I could do that.
And leaving doors unlocked when no.
Yeah, you gotta.
I just
hey,
had
have you seen the Tiger King documentary? Everybody's talking about.
No, I've been taking care of a little baby since y'all been talking about that. I need to watch it.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you've got all these hours from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. where you've got to be able to do that. If you don't mind me asking a personal question, is she nursing or no?
Yes.
All right.
Trying.
Oh, dude, I tell you what,
I think it started last night, and it's it's gonna be. We're really really trying. So all the benefits we hear.
I tell you what, the time that my wife spent with a lactation consultant was worth its weight in gold. And then there's this group out there, La Leche League. They're kind of crazy, but man, just a blessing for whenever mom and baby get that right. That's a gift to the husband too, because it's like,
yeah, it's my kid. He came out of the womb knowing how to, it's my boy. So he was ready to go, but she just wasn't producing yet.
Oh, so, whatever, man.
Yeah, he don't need no training.
All right. Let's see. Joan says, let's see. Once again.
Yeah, let's ask some questions. This is fun.
Well, let's see. Chandler is saying, man, I typically, let me ask you a personal, or just for you personally, would you hire someone that was just wanting to work part-time?
If they were willing to learn a skill and they were willing to do a job for our team. I don't want the guy coming to my office asking me for, an iPad or phone and business cards. And I guess it's the thing to do when you hire someone. They're like, hey, when do I get my first 500 business cards? Damn, man, you gonna make some money before I have to spend some money? You know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
That's real talk right there. It's frustrating when you hire someone. They think they need to be the guy on YouTube at hey, I was that guy. I mean, I just got out there and did what I had to do. But nowadays it's a little bit different when people have so much resources to find information about you and your past reputation in the business. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Let's see. Joan says she's interested in just doing referrals to real estate agents. So, it's kind of interesting. And you already have a real estate license. Joan, if you go check out a website called zerodues.com. It's zerodues.com. That's actually another company that I own that I don't talk about really at all. I think this is probably the first time I've ever publicly talked about it. But what it is there's something that most people don't understand. Once they get the real estate license, that makes them legal with the state, so that you then can earn a commission legally. But unless you have access to the MLS and you're a part of the Board of Realtors, which is the Board of Realtors is actually a private club. You're just paying money to be a part of an association. It's not part of the government, but you have to be part of that club in order to have access to the MLS. And that once you sign on to all the different levels of all the things you have to sign on to, then it costs you somewhere between $1,400 and $1,800 a year or so. And so to avoid all of that stuff, you have to have a broker that's not a member of all those things, or else you're going to be forced to have to join those. And that's what zerodues.com does. It allows you to avoid all that. So I would say, David, I'm different than you. Whenever I hire an agent on our full service company, I don't have those individual roles carved out like that. So it's either you're going to go full time and you're going all in, or nothing, because I want to make sure I do 100% training up front. It's like 6 weeks of training, and then I'm buying business cards and the whole 9 yards. And I'm not going to buy any of that stuff unless you go through the training and unless you're willing to tell me that you're going to work full time. And I definitely miss out on the opportunity to work with some really great, talented people that are like Chandler here, that want to start part time and just kind of get things going. But the solution that I offer is what I just mentioned to Joan is, well, just get your license, market yourself, get some referrals going, send those referrals off, save up a little bit of money, and then but
then the scarcity mindset sets in, and they just want to service that business.
Mm-hmm.
And I think then that causes them to work 3 or 4 or 5 deals that year. When they have that plan in place, hey, I'm gonna get online and I'll make some referrals or I'll spend money. I just don't think the return's there unless you are previously in an area where you built up a good reputation and moved out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a website developed. It's my website now is 13 years deep. So it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I couldn't imagine starting over. I off subject, but it's like a video game. You go through the levels and you keep leveling up and you get a better gun, you get a better golf club, and that's just the way real estate is. As you progress and you close deals, you get money to go to the real estate store when everybody's wanting your money, but you learn what to buy and how to buy it to get, up to whatever transactions you want to close that year.
Yeah, no, there's no shortage of tools that you can buy. Marketing is, depending on what month it is, it's either my number one or number two largest cost behind personnel.
Yep.
Spending the money doesn't get you there. It's spending money in the right way and on the right things and knowing how to use those tools. And you don't get that by doing anything but sticking around and trying different things. What were you gonna say?
Just to put the numbers out there, I think last summer we were close to, for like 2 months in a row, we were with letters going outbound, and for admin we were at like $35,000 a month of pay going out, just trying to figure out a new marketing pillar. It's insane how much money it takes to do that for 6-7 months to get a return. So I don't think these new agents understand that you're going to spend 10% of what, 10 to 15% of whatever you expect to bring in. So if you want to make $100,000 a year, you have to be okay with spending $15,000 for that year on that pillar. And I just don't think people I didn't wrap my brain around that in the beginning either.
Well, when they see that you can get a Facebook. Yeah, and free is not free either. Free appears to be free, but it can still cost you. Yeah, it's time, and when you're trying to build something and then you realize it's a dead end, the bills are going to eat you alive in the process. So I actually don't care how much it costs. I'm just looking at the return on investment, and it's really easy to think that it's let's say if you look at a Facebook lead, once you get it dialed in, it's conceivable you could get a Facebook lead down to $2 a lead. But the cost that it takes to figure out how to get it to that point could be $30,000 of, shooting blanks or whatever. It could be something crazy like that.
And you got to be careful. Are you just collecting people's names, or are you actually getting somebody that wants to buy a house?
Right. Absolutely.
You've done a really great job with that one pillar with the tax advice or the tax property advice.
Property tax.
I think that's a killer. But people actually, they have something like a resource that you have, and that's where you have to be. If you're just the average agent putting things online, you're just collecting names, and then you're frustrated because most agents won't call them 1 or 2 times. And when you actually have to wrap your brain around touching them 18 times before they probably communicate with you, you're probably just going down a rabbit hole that you can't control.
Angela, you may ask a property tax question. Anything goes right now. You can ask it. David may answer, I may answer, or you can click the link and join us live and ask live. Either way, doesn't matter. Joan, all you have to do to find somebody to help with your problem of having that client there is just send me a private message and I'll be more than happy to help and be more than happy to pay your referral fee. Joan's got somebody coming from afar. Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I mean, you mentioned the property tax thing, and people don't realize with the property tax thing, I did with that just what I was doing this week is just looking at, if I look at our business and what I'm doing as a way to make a difference. And if I was just wanting to make a living, you can look at the statistics on how many small businesses fail. And when you just do the math and do the logic, it really doesn't make sense to try and blaze a new trail, be an independent real estate broker, a small company, and do something new because the math just doesn't work out. If you're just playing the odds, the odds are you're going to fail and you're going to not profit. However, if the goal is to make a difference and the goal is to impact people's lives and be a value to the community, and if that's what you focus on, then absolutely, it's got to be profitable. We got to make a ton of money to be able to do what we're doing, and we need to make more. In fact, anytime you close a deal with us, you are funding everything you see us do for free. It's how it works. But it also frees us up to do stuff like this. It's kind of like all the things I've done this week. It's just it frees me up to work in line with how my values are set up. And it's like, I'm going to look for ways to make a difference and add value to the community. And we've been fortunate enough to figure it out, after being in the business for 18 years or whatever. Now it's just a matter of relationships and trying to help folks. That's what it ends up being, but it's the long game. You can't expect to turn a quick dime if you're just helping people.
Yeah.
You got to, there's more to it. There's strategy.
You got to be almost a farmer mindset. You got to plant those seeds.
Yep. Let's see. Angela said you helped lower our here. I'm just going to put it up here because it's hard for me to read and talk. All right. You helped lower our tax value last year by $20,000. We received a notice yesterday. Our monthly payment is increasing by $200 per month due to an escrow shortage. I actually hoped our payment would decrease. Does that sound right? Yeah, that's crazy. But that's not uncommon, Angela. That's something that happens often, and I've got answers for that. But I want to see, David, how well have you been paying attention to my videos and protesting your own taxes? Do you know what's up with her? Do you know what's going on there?
Yeah, because I got investment properties myself, so I do know what she's going through, and we went through a lot of people don't realize if you didn't own a house before 2018, they actually didn't increase value, I believe, on property for almost 8 to 9 years. And there's been a shortage for the budget in our area. So now that we're seeing 17, 18, 19 property values increase, we're going to get those surprises where the property value, where we're going to have an increase in our payments per month, which is, you got to be okay with. But, obviously we're going to try to adjust our property value every single year.
You mean protest, right? Yeah. You mean protest?
Yeah.
Protest every year. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's free. Might as well. So in Tarrant County specifically, there are two different values that you're dealing with. One is what they label as the market value, and the other one, they label it as the appraised value. And that terminology drives me nuts because they actually just chose the wrong word to describe the appraised value term. That they shouldn't use the word appraised because it doesn't mean, it has nothing to do with an appraisal. It's the cap that it's a homestead capped value. And so we can reduce the market value, but let's just say, what if they raised your market value by $40,000 and then we got it, let's say 1 year it was here, and then the appraisal district raised your value $40,000, then we got it down to 20, you're still experiencing a $20,000 increase. Now, what if the appraised value is it's going to be capped at 10% growth per year, right? And if your one value went up super high and then the other one capped out at 10% growth, we can still get this one down significantly, but it's not going to reduce the actual amount you pay until you get it below that appraised value. So there could be multiple reasons why that's happened, but I'll tell you a couple solutions for you. Number one is just to call the mortgage company and ask them if you can pay out that escrow shortage over a 2-year period of time. That's the number one thing that you can do. And usually the answer is yes, right off the bat. I know Quicken will not do it, so don't get a loan with Quicken.
Hopefully they'll sell your mortgage anyway. So
yeah, hopefully they'll sell it off. David, have you had any success asking lenders to pay out that escrow shortage over a 2-year period of time? Have you had any experience with that?
Actually, I have not. That's a good idea. I never even thought about offering that to a client. So good, thank you. I learned something.
Man, it's usually a quick phone call. You don't have to show any hardship or anything. You just tell them, hey, I'm concerned I'm not going to be able to make that payment. Can we pay it out over 2 years? I mean, you can pay it off instantly in one check if you have the money, or pay it out over 2 years. Right now, I'd say the normal concern that people have is, hey, if I pay that out over 2 years, if I spread that out, then property values are probably going to go up again the next year. And then I'm just going to be even further behind. Well, I would actually say in today's environment with what's going on in Tarrant County, number one, I talked to the chief appraiser. I've been to every board meeting, and they are going to do everything they can to keep those values the same as they were last year. If not, they're going to try and minimize the increase. So spreading it out is not going to have as bad of a that one risk is not there, as it's not as risky this year as it has been in past years. The other thing that you can do is get a quote on your insurance, and that's something I can help you with. Did you not get help with that now, David?
No, I'm learning every minute now.
Yeah, I haven't really talked about that much, but that's something we can help with.
Excellent.
And so you've got two different things that go into your escrow account. One is property tax, and the other is insurance. And if either one of those go up, which in recent years both have been going up, you can reduce your property tax by protesting, making sure you have your exemptions on there, and then you can reduce your insurance by getting an insurance quote. And so those are two. The third thing is refinancing. You can refinance your loan. I guess the fourth thing.
Yeah, the biggest thing, and also working through foreclosures with people that run into a problem, it's always goes back to communicating with the mortgage company way ahead of the problem.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Whatever you could ask them and explain to them, not that you're going in foreclosure or you just can't make that payment, but it's always best just to, because they're going to keep notes of every conversation. And if you're having open lines of communication with them, you're always going to win.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody else has any other questions, just please just go ahead and post in the comments, or you're welcome to join the live stream. I got another question for you, David. David, I used to do a lot in investment stuff. The reason why I haven't been out in front of everybody for 18 years is because up until about 2012 or so, all I was doing was helping investors find good deals. I was buying investment properties, but I quit doing that in 2014 or so. But you've really started ramping up your investment purchases. By the way, side note, did you see Open Door and OfferPad and all those guys are out of the business right now?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, they shut it down. Well, that's more opportunity for you. So here's the question I've got, because this is something that I think people are going to encounter is if somebody cannot make their payments. You just mentioned being in contact with a mortgage company early on. So, but if somebody cannot make their payments to avoid having to sell their house to an investor like you, what kind of advice would you give to somebody? Does that make sense?
You're breaking up a little. Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but I got it. What advice would I give to somebody? It always comes down to when we talk to people that are in a situation. A third of my business, is helping people out of foreclosure. So it's kind of like your tax advice that you're doing on the property taxes. That we really, back in 2012, 14, I always wanted to buy the house and be selfish and serve my interest. But you find ways that there's options for people that are in foreclosure. And it just comes back to the communication with that mortgage company way ahead of time. Ask me the question again, but
no, that's a good answer. I think it seems like I remember whenever I was dealing with people in pre-foreclosure situations, they wouldn't make rational choices. And if you just call the mortgage company, you don't hide from it. You face it head on. You call the mortgage company, you tell them I can't make the payments. Then sometimes, but what could somebody expect to hear if they call their mortgage company and say that they can't make the payments? What do you think that they'll hear?
Well, they're going to start you want to ask for that loan modification and try to get that payment within range, because most people, 90% of the people that are in that situation, that's their home. That's, most people are not going to lose an investment property. They're going to be a little bit more financial secure. So everybody that we run into, it's their home, and they probably had it for at least 3 years to 15 years. And man, it's like, they don't want to give that up. They don't want to make a move. They don't want to pack their stuff up. And sometimes the spouses are not even talking about the problem because one spouse is responsible for that mortgage payment, and we prospect them to try to see if we could help them, and the other spouse isn't even aware of the problem. So it just comes back to calling that mortgage company. Hey, what are my options over the next 6 months? I lost my job. I have a medical issue. What can we do before I get behind on payments? Most people hide underneath a rock until they're 4 or 5 months behind. And depending on the mortgage company and the acceleration rate, they're going to be kicked out of their house before they know it. And, they're going to have everything on the front lawn. And it's just a disaster, man. When you have the time to talk to them and understand, hey, what can you help me do? Especially in this right now in our economy, we're going to see a lot of people in that distress mode in June, July.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I guarantee 80% of the population won't know how to have that conversation with their mortgage company, and they need to have that open line of communication.
Yeah, just face it head on.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And most people today have $100,000 equity in their houses. So why hide underneath a rock and lose your house?
Man, literally.
Or go the convenient route and sell to these companies that are charging you ridiculous service fees and giving you what you think is a quick sale when you don't really need to go that route. You could keep your home, or you could actually cash out but list it with somebody that could get you a better value for the property. Not to be salesy, but
no, that's what it is. I think so many people see the marketing that these Open Door and OfferPad and Zillow are doing, and they think that, well, that's just the easy answer. Or I buy houses. I'm sorry. What home investors? It's either the we buy ugly houses or we buy pretty houses. And what people don't realize is that what they're doing is not new. Like they're masters at marketing. They're incredible at marketing. I just think it's genius. But what they're doing is not new. It's all they're doing is buying properties. And the trouble that you have is when you go to one of those people, you're getting one offer, nobody's competing, and what they make you think that they're going to pay for the property in the beginning doesn't end up being what you end up paying once you get to the closing table. And working with a guy like me or a guy like David, you can, I know I've got a list of like 1,200 investors. It doesn't matter how many you have. You just need a handful quality investors that will compete for that property and give it the best offer. It's just like anything with competition, you end up getting a better deal and getting a more fair price. And what if you don't? Well, then you can still have OfferPad or Open Door, one of those guys, give you an offer if they were doing it anymore. They're not doing it right now. So.
And also the thought, if you look at the actual data points on when people overprice their property in our market, we can actually see that if they overprice it for more than 30 days, they're probably going to take a first price correction. And on average, they're losing in our market about $9 a foot. So if you take a $300,000 property and you lose $9 a foot on that property, say 2,500 square feet, I mean,
that's a lot of money.
People just need to realize if they need to sell their property, it's okay to price it a little bit below market value, because you're going to get the buyer that needs a loan and that investor competing, and that's just healthy competition for your house. And you know that up front. You don't have to wait 30, 60 days and then be 2 days from the auction date, from Tarrant County's auction date or auction. It's just, there's a way to play the system, and if you play it correctly, you're going to maximize if you have to sell it, or you get on the phone with the mortgage company and you save it.
It's funny, David. I've learned that lesson personally, and I see everybody learning that same lesson. Yeah, it's because it's human nature. You want to maximize your profit, then it seems like the logical thing to do is to list it higher, right? But then you end up losing so much more. And there's a rent house I had right around 2008, and man, I needed to get a certain amount of rent for cash flow, and so I was asking for it, and I ended up spending 10 grand on in 6 months. Just screwing around. And it wasn't until I dropped that price and finally got it sold. It's like, man, if I would have listed at that price to begin with, the competition probably would have forced the price right back up, and I could have avoided the whole mess. Hey, man, changing the subject just a little bit.
Sure.
Lauren, I'm gonna repeat the answer for you real quick. So, Lauren, if you're experiencing an escrow shortage, the first thing that you should do is call your mortgage company and ask to pay it out over 2 years. The second thing that you should do is protest your property taxes every year. And Ashish, I am going to help everybody in Tarrant County again that needs help. Just go to freepropertytaxprotest.com and I'll help you out. You'd be shocked, David. You'd be shocked how many realtors sign up for our free property tax protest services.
That's funny.
That's great. And they'll send all their clients to me and everything. It's like, whatever.
I'll send you all our houses this year and let you take care of it.
I'll do it. It doesn't matter who you are.
We're leaving. It's funny. We're leaving one house that we live in, the outside kind of messy, so they don't raise the value if they drive by this year, because it's like I guess we're at the 3-year mark. I think they have to do a drive-by, or when do they do? Do they ever do a drive-by?
I don't know that there's any kind of mandate that says they have to do a drive-by,
or that the Google View, or I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't think it matters. They're going to get you one way or the other. They're going to get you with the trash out front, and you're just going to be double mad. You're
Get it
raising
cut
it, and you're like, man, I've left it trashy for 2 years for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Get an estimate on your to get your insurance down. I can help you with that, or refinance your house. Those are pretty much your options.
Do you see? Let me have a question for you, Chandler. Do you see
Yeah,
it being delayed this year?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I did a live stream yesterday, the day before about that, and I got on the news yesterday. I was here in the garage, dude, and CBS did an interview. Jason Allen is crazy, and the audio was so bad on it. I got this microphone just because I was like, oh my gosh, this is not only am I have all these bicycles behind me in the garage, but now the audio is bad. It's like this has just reached a point where I'm not going to get off video, but yeah, it's going to be delayed. Value notices are going to go out April 20th at the earliest, and there's a good chance that they're going to go out later than that. And then the protest deadline is going to be 30 days after that. Okay. Whatever 30 days after they send those value notices out, it's going to go out then. And now the anybody that I'm helping, you're going to get yours about a week late because I'm going to take it and digitize it, and I'm going to email it to you. And don't worry, I will be on video every step of the way, letting you know what's going on. But we're going to take care of you one way or the other. Tad Value knows. So
I think I need to come work for you this year.
Man, yeah, we need help. All this, I'll pay you nothing. Just
This sounds good.
But all the work we do over here is free.
That's cool. I heard.
Yeah. Hey, I'm thinking about starting. We're going to hop off here in just a second. It's like 2:56. We've been at this, dude. Thank you so much for joining. This is so cool. I was wondering if anybody's gonna have the guts to do it. Billy almost joined. I think there's some technical issues, but even my childhood friend, best friend of all time, he didn't have the guts to join. Only it takes a David Pennell to join.
I usually dress up for my video appearances, but I'm quarantined at the office taking care of some stuff.
I usually have a halfway decent background myself. Hey, something I'm thinking about doing is I'm not going to do these 2 p.m. things. It consumes too much of my thought process throughout the day, and I'm not getting anything done. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm happy to do it because I think that the information needs to be out there, but at the same time, I can't do it anymore. But what I was thinking about doing was doing the daily market update at like 9 a.m. and doing just because the real estate market, you would think it's changing like crazy. Here, the shocking thing, David, is that if you just go to the MLS and look at your home tab on the dashboard, the little market update, look at how many are going under contract and all that, the pendings and the active options, they're way above the listed. It's crazy, dude. I think it's just because people are shying away from listing their properties, and the buyers are still out there, man. It's crazy. The market.
Well, there's definitely opportunity for if you're looking to buy a property, especially an investor right now. It's sad to say there's going to be opportunity through all this.
Yeah.
And that's why these people have to, if they want to keep their home, they have to reach out and really figure out what their options are to save their property. It's predictable. It's going to get messy in July, in August, and this is going to kill probably our spring market that we count on as agents. It's going to slow things down just a hair.
Yeah.
So we just need to come across, we need to take our knowledge, you and I and every other realtor out there, and remove the ego and remove the selfishness if you have it, and just help your folks, help your database.
Yeah, you're right.
Like what you're doing with the tax stuff. It's just, I think the people that make it through this as real estate agents are the ones that are gonna answer questions. And if we could be open on something like this, I love your idea of market updates. I would be very specific on an area every day. So,
not Tarrant County in general?
No, I think you should break it down to, we have 36 cities. Why don't you have 30 days in a month. Why don't you find 30 cities to break it down every day? And then they know each calendar day to get on if they're in Northwestern Hills, let's do one for them. Let's be real, Mike.
I think that would be, what? Say that again?
I was just say break it down maybe a little bit more micro on that.
Okay, so me and you know that that's what you should do, but the general public, when they see something in the news, they just think that that's it. They think that that's gospel. So I got to keep it simple, or else I'm not going to do it.
Okay,
I don't know. I'll probably do it for 1 week and see how it goes, and then go from there. But I just figured, just if I just get on to like a 5-minute deal and just say what's happened, what's the general market doing, which direction are we going in? It's going to get messy, but
share. What would you kind of points would you share on that?
What's my forecast?
Yeah, like what do you think you'd share if you had 5 points to share every day?
I was debating. I think I would just right now, as far as like a daily update, the government shutting down commerce, like in general, is going to have an effect, and I think it's going to have a sharp effect, and it's going to be quick. And so I just feel like a daily update on that level is, I would find that interesting. I don't know let me know in the comments if you think that would be interesting. And so from that aspect, I think that the best way to measure that is just to look at number of properties listed versus number of properties going under contract and number of properties sold, and just look at that in general. Number of canceled listings, because I think that they're going to be lenders right now. Man, all of our lenders for any buyers that are under contract, they're hanging tight. They're willing to still finance the deal. And right now, the word is even if the person is out of work, if the employer can give some kind of date saying when they can go back to work, then the underwriter's giving it a pass. So I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. I don't think a daily market update is something I'd be interested in if there wasn't so much turbulence. I don't think that there would be that much value in it. Yeah. And it would wear me out, and I would just feel like I'm, doing useless stuff. But
I've seen other people and coaches do a daily Facebook feed, and I think it's just overwhelming in content. So just be aware of that. You may be
keep it simple.
You may be too much if you just did one day a week. People know to attend on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. Or make it Thursdays, something catchy where people remember and they can, hey, on Thursday, I'm going to talk about my market because you're Thirsty Thursdays or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking tea time with Chandler, but but I don't, tea time with Chandler doesn't
I think we should bring our babies on tomorrow.
tomorrow I'm gonna be with the babies. I'm gonna be on here. I'm done with the 2 p.m. thing. I'm a little bit worn out from it. I'm doing job interviews right now, man. I'm hiring. We're pressing forward. It doesn't matter what's gonna happen. We've got ridiculous opportunity, man, dude. I'm gonna shut it down here. Thank you so much for joining. If you wouldn't have joined, I would have sat here and blabbed and kind of floundered for about 15 more minutes and then just shut it off defeated and thought nobody loves me enough.
And on that note, let's just as a community, let's don't get defeated on this.
True, man. Yeah,
I mean, we got to stay motivated, and this is the perfect time to reorganize our businesses if you're a real estate agent, or the social connecting with your family. I'm at the office now, but man, it's shut that TV off, go for that walk, and just reconnect with the family is important too.
Absolutely. And I would say this, if you are a business owner, if you're self-employed and you have a client base, now is the time to just realize one thing is for sure, this is temporary. It is temporary. We know that for sure. We don't know what it's going to look like on the other side of this, but we know it's going to end. And if you're committed, if you have big goals and you're committed to the long term, put the business to the side and let people know you care about them, and actually do something to try and help people. And yeah, what you're saying, we've got an agent with our company that's he's got gray hair and grandkids. And he says, people don't understand how incredible this time is. When you get to be older, you're going to wish you had this time with your kids back because it evaporates. And I know it's so easy to lose sight of that when you're concerned about how you're going to pay bills, but it all happens simultaneously, and those kids don't know.
Or you can't get them to stop crying.
Right. Yeah, man. Hey, good luck with that. I truly hope and pray that you get the nursing thing down. It's a awesome thing when it clicks. It's good. But really you got that noise machine, right?
Noise. Yes. Thank you.
So I didn't tell you how to use that. And then I'll tell you. So you put mom in a bedroom with the noise machine. Okay. While you rock the baby and let her get some sleep. And then you got to go wake her up at a certain point. Or actually, no. Here's what'll happen. You won't want to do that. You're going to want to let her sleep. So she's got to set the alarm when it's time to feed, and then she comes out and gets you, and then you can trade off. But the noise machine is there for the person that needs to catch up on sleep. And if mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, man. That was the thing, the rotation that saved saved our sanity. And then you get to watch Tiger King while you're rocking the baby.
That's awesome. I'll keep you updated on that.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for hanging out. This is a lot of fun. Maybe this will be our mastermind right here. We'll just do it in front of everybody.
Yeah, I like that idea if we could do that, because we don't talk about the business behind the scenes, behind the whatever
what happens behind the scenes in front of everybody.
Yeah. So let's do it. Let's get out there in public, and if anybody needs help going through a hardship, obviously reach out to both of us. I built my business helping people get out of distressed properties. So if anybody needs some advice, please give us a call.
You got it, man. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Tell your wife I said hi and congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man.
Bye.
See you. Bye.